My in-laws secretly baptized my son behind my back. They're not allowed to babysit again.
What?
Just a little low-key baptism on the low.
What?
My wife and I have a 2-year-old son and have been married for 4 years. Our anniversary was a month ago, and we found a nice secluded cabin on Airbnb and rented it out for a long weekend getaway. By the way, this comes from user No Baptism A-hole. And if you want to submit your own stories, go do it on the r/OKStories subreddit. My wife asked her parents if they would be willing to watch our son, and they agreed as long as we dropped him off at their house. That worked for us since it was on our way anyway. I was raised Lutheran, and my wife was raised Catholic, but neither of us currently go to church and have not had our son baptized. My mother-in-law knows this and hates it. She thinks our son needs to be baptized or he will burn in the lake of fire. She is that kind of Catholic. So we go on our trip, and when we pick up our son and ask how the weekend went, mother-in-law says everything went fine and that she has saved my son's soul from the devil. I ask her what she meant, and she says she had our son baptized that morning at her church. I tried my best to keep my cool so I didn't scream at mother-in-law in front of my son, but I pretty much grabbed my son and left. On the car ride home, I was fuming and told my wife as calmly as I could that this would be the last time her parents have our son unsupervised.
Yeah. If they're just willy-nilly baptizing him, what are they going to do next? It's my turn to read the story. She tried to downplay what her mom had done, but I told her we need to wait until we get home to talk about it because I'm not fighting in front of my kid. When we got home and had a chance to talk about it, things got heated. I told my wife I no longer trust her parents with our son and that if they did something like this behind our backs, I can't trust them to respect our wishes as parents in the future. I said this was a huge breach of trust and I will forever look at their mom differently. She continued to try to defend her mom, saying that she was only doing what she thought was best for her grandson. She even downplayed it by saying that it's just a little water.
Hello? She's right though, right? It is.
And a few words, and we don't go to church anyway, so what does it matter? I told her that under no circumstances will I allow her parents to watch our son by themselves again. I said that we can still let them see their grandson, but only if we're present. I also said that if she doesn't see what the big deal is with this situation, then maybe we aren't on the same page as parents and maybe we need to see a counselor. She started crying and said that this isn't the kind of decision I get to make on my own and I'm an a-hole for trying to tell her what kind of relationship her parents can have with our son. Wait, this was the wife. The wife was saying this the whole time?
That it's like, yeah, I mean...
Whoa, she was in on it.
What do you mean?
I think it...
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't in on it.
No, I think if she was this chill with it, she's like, oh, it's just a little water. I think she's in on it.
What is it with people? It's like, who cares? If you really think this is all made up fairy dust nonsense, then why care? That's my question. Why care? I would care if it was like, you know, they did some sort of weird religious sacrifice ritual or something. I don't know. If I came back and my baby was covered in goat's blood, I'd be upset.
I don't know. I think in this moment, I think this is a precursor to more to them going past boundaries more and more. And I think if a parent says, I do not want this for my child, you have to respect that. Even if you don't think it's a big deal, I think if you like let's for example, like having candy.
Did they explicitly say that though? Or like, did they? I can't even remember 5 seconds ago. I'm sorry.
This is says it's not the actual baptism, it's the disrespect. That's what I think.
But it's that's just something you file away, dude.
But yeah, but
you file it away and
says I don't want these parents. Like, he didn't yell at them. He just said, I don't want these parents taking care of my kids if they're going to disrespect me like this.
I mean, I feel like you're just you're going to end up making things harder for what is essentially nothing in your eyes, which doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, whatever. I think we're not going to agree on that.
I told her that I no longer have any trust or respect for her parents and that I don't know if there's anything they can do to repair that. I told her I don't care if that makes me an a-hole, but what her parents did was unforgivable in my eyes, and they put themselves in this position to lose privileges with our son. She's been trying to convince me to change my mind for the last month, but I'm not budging. To me, this is a hill I'm willing to fall into eternal sleep on. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, Catholic with a controlling mother here. Wife most likely is used to picking her battles and doesn't see why this is a big deal as the child was in no danger. I'm going to second the suggestion for counseling to help her see that her parents are only the grandparents. That type of decision is supposed to belong to parents only, and her mother is trying to make it for them. She needs to understand that that's not normal and not okay. You're sitting on my phone and my knee. She needs to understand that that's not normal and not okay, and that she needs to set firm boundaries with her parents in order to have any peace moving forward. Counseling will feel like a punishment to her, like she's failing in marriage. OP needs to help her see it as a tool to help them move forward constructively. And there is another comment.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
Not the a-hole. Report the priest and or parish that performed it without your consent to either the diocese or the archdiocese. The Catholic Church forbids baptism without parental permission. The baptism won't be officially recognized as a result, and if mother-in-law lied and claimed she had your permission, it will land her in hot water with the church. To your wife, letting her get away with something because she thought it was best for her grandson leads to a slippery slope. What if your mom decides it's best for your son to live with her during the week and you and your husband only see him on the weekends? Are you going to let her get away with that? It isn't her kid. She doesn't get to decide what's best. Only his parents do. Your mom stomped the no baptism boundary. If you let her get away with it, she will stomp other boundaries you set up using the argument, it's what I think is best for grandson. Next boundary could be, don't give him too much sugar. That stomp could cost you a lot of money. Young children, when they have cavities, have to be knocked out in order to get them fixed. It's not cheap. My nephew's last dental procedure, he has weak tooth enamel, cost my sister $3,000 out of pocket. Insurance picked up the rest, but it was first to get anesthesia covered.
Sorry, I just need to say that's not, I mean, maybe when they're that young, maybe, I guess.
Well, I think that the point is what they're saying is that if
never mind.
they're avoiding,
actually, I'm in the wrong ear.
Okay.
I think they're talking about babies.
Yeah,
I was not thinking about babies.
Update! There is an update. First off, I want to thank everyone who sent me supportive messages and advice. I never expected my post to get so much attention. Since many of you requested an update, here we go. Turns out some of you were right. My wife was in on it. I freaking called it.
Well, it's time to get a divorce.
I confronted her a couple days after I posted and directly asked her if she knew that her parents planned this. She broke down and confessed everything to me. Mother-in-law has been pestering her about baptizing her son nonstop, and my wife finally caved. My wife has been working from home during COVID while my job requires me to go into the office. My wife and mother-in-law started to do Zoom meetings with mother-in-law's priest to start the baptism process. They lied to the priest and told him that I was okay with baptizing our son, but didn't want to be involved.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the Bible forbids that. What was
here.
that number 4?
Just
Thou
the fact
shalt
that
not
they're
do the
lying.
fibs.
The fact that they're lying and going behind OP's back is, I think, like reason enough for this just to be like so far from okay.
I was just looking for a path to peace, all right? They refused to have it, so now it's divorce time.
It's divorce. My wife admitted that she planned it around our anniversary getaway, and then mother-in-law had somehow convinced the priest that her and father-in-law would be the only ones in attendance. My wife told me that I wasn't supposed to find out, but mother-in-law couldn't keep her mouth shut for even one day about it. Their intention was to keep this from me permanently.
I'm sorry, I have to let this joke out of my head. If you want to just undo the baptism, bring the baby to Vegas and just let it pull one handle on a slot machine, and that'll undo the baptism.
Just get its little baby hand on the
Take
slot
him to
machine.
Sin City.
It got sin again.
One little baby, and then if he wins all the money, the casino's gonna go, that baby can't take that money. He's not old enough. Okay, sorry. I had to let that one out.
I did contact the church to let them know the truth. I talked with the priest, and he was surprisingly helpful. He said he would take the proper steps to make sure mother-in-law is no longer welcome in this church, and to reach out to the local parish to see what further steps needed to be taken. I have yet to hear back from them on that. My wife and mother-in-law are mad that I got her punted out of her church, but I don't care what they think or feel anymore. These people who I love and trust betray me, and I felt a range of emotions I didn't know existed. My wife begged for forgiveness, but the fact that she didn't come clean on her own makes me feel she would have kept this from me unless I confronted her. She's willing to do therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I don't know if I want to put in that work. I feel like there's no coming back from this. But you know what you can come back from?
Again and again for 47 days, you can.
You can come back for, at least. Us on OK Storytime. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and watch full episodes with stories just like this. And there is add a wee bit more to this tale.
A wee bit more.
Two churches.
A little wee. I guess I'm just too nonchalant for this story, guys.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just too nonchalant.
Wait, I'm going to finish this and then I have thoughts. I contacted a divorce lawyer and started discussing what a divorce would look like and if there was any way I add provisions to a divorce agreement that would keep my in-laws from seeing my son unsupervised. He's been very helpful, but I have not given him the go-ahead to actually file for divorce yet. I feel I am still too angry about the entire thing to think rationally and want to give myself time to fully grasp what a divorce will mean for me and my family. My wife and I aren't talking much. I pretty much go to work, come home to play with my son, go to bed, and repeat. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I do know that without the support and help from people here, I don't think I would have the clarity I do now. And comment 1 says, I'm sorry you're going through all of this, and I'm particularly sorry the one person you should be able to trust in this mess is on the wrong side. If you don't feel like therapy with her would be productive right now, maybe consider going on your own to see if you can sort through the anger enough to figure out the path ahead. I think this is extremely telling though. Quote, my wife and mother-in-law are mad that I got her punted out of her church. You did not get mother-in-law punted out. The priest, aka the person with more incentive to be concerned about your child's spiritual well-being than your feelings than anyone else in this situation, looked at the matter objectively and went, this is not what God wants, and our community doesn't want it either. The fact that this hasn't prompted a similar, wow, we were really out of line, weren't we? Realization from your wife is not encouraging, to say the least. And reply, I am floored by the fact that mother-in-law lied to the priest. As a Catholic myself, the thought would never even cross my mind. Mother-in-law thinks she's so holier than thou, but thinks it's okay to lie. In my opinion, she's not a Catholic, she's a bigot. And that is the end of that freaking story. Woo! Oh,
This story got just snowballed into just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
Absolute mess. You know, and I think, and again, from my perspective, right?
Yeah, from your perspective.
I don't know. It's like if you were just nonchalant about this, you'd still be married to your wife and you'd still have a family and all that stuff. If you just let it roll off of you a little bit.
But there's a lot of things that
you file it away. You don't forget. You let it roll off and you file it away. And as time goes on, and if they keep checking the same disrespect box, you go, all right, now we need to make tangible, actionable change in regards to our relationship with your parents.